Hi, so today myself, Alana and Erica are going to be talking about specialised communication when working with service users with intellectual disabilities, and we'll also be talking about influence and confrontation when working with someone with challenging behaviour. Specialised communication is using specific forms of communication that are unique to an individual person with disabilities, and this communication can be non-verbal communication or alternative or augmented communication. When working with people with disabilities, it is vital that you try to communicate with them just like you would with any other person without a disability as much as you can. Communication is a two-way process and it may not always be successful, so therefore it requires interpretation. As a social care worker, when working with people with intellectual disabilities, there are some guidelines that you must follow. It's important to not overload the sentences or talk too quickly as they can't keep up. You should also avoid using long, complex instructions as this can be confusing, and try not to speak in abstract terms. What you should do is keep sentences clear, short and simple so the individual can keep up. You should also consider a quiet area away from distractions so they can concentrate. You should also speak slow to a suitable pace, but don't be condescending. It's most important that you just get to know the person, so you give time for a response and don't be afraid to ask them to repeat. It's all about just being patient. You should also consider if the individual needs communication to be supplemented with pictures or an AC or a microphone. Harvey N. 2010 says that physical contact with others is good for us and it can satisfy emotional needs, and this is also another important way where you could supplement communication. A useful way to test all the different requirements is a communication passport. This contains information about a person with a communication difficulty. The information within a communication passport is unique to every individual and reflects the personality. If a person does not want a communication passport, that's absolutely fine, it's their choice. A communication passport provides a place for the service user's own views and preferences and how others can best communicate with them. It also helps staff to communicate with each other as they talk to the service user the same way. 80% of what we do communicate is non-verbal, and therefore it comes natural to us, but we still need to be aware of the 9 elements involved in NCB. They are appearance, facial expression, eye contact, head movement, hand movement, posture, physical contact, proximity, and signs, symbols and pictures.
Alternative or augmented communication are methods which support or replace written or spoken communication. Examples include Law of Irish Sign Language, unaided and aided AAC. People who may use AAC include those with an intellectual disability, autism, stroke or a brain injury. Law is a manual sign system used by and for children and adults with intellectual disabilities and communication needs in Ireland. Law supports verbal communication. It's not a language in itself. Law is useful because people can see and hear what is being communicated. It can encourage people to slow down, which allows more time to work out what is being said. If a person with intellectual disability speech is unclear or limited, it may be easier to understand them by using signs, so it causes less frustration for them. Another benefit is it encourages eye contact and attention to movement. So this is improvement for speech development. Low-tech AAC tools are tools that aid communication and don't require batteries. PECs are pictorial exchange communication. They are communication systems for people with intellectual disabilities. They operate through a series of steps that teaches the person to exchange pictures or put them in a book to communicate what they want. According to Dodd 2005, PECs emphasises teaching a child to initiate requests, respond to questions and make social comments. There are 6 laws of governing influence, and these are as follows. The laws of scarcity, the law of reciprocity, the law of authority, the law of liking, the law of social proof and the law of commitment. Confrontation is sometimes used to address a negative situation and to express a negative emotional response and to ventilate anger only. Confrontation may be used to change the behaviour of others, to clarify what may have happened, and when confronting a person with challenging behaviour, they may engage in self-destructive or hurtful or unacceptable behaviour. As a social care worker, when confronting a person with challenging behaviour, be calm and have it all well thought out so you can allow the person to speak without lashing out. There are 3 conflict strategies: disruptive conflict strategy, integrative conflict strategy, and avoidant strategy.
Okay, so the 7 strategies for influencing someone with challenging behaviour is you need to have a connection with them. So this involves interacting with people. Even a simple smile can be a connection. Asking someone about their day or how their day was. When dealing with someone with challenging behaviour, we need to form a relationship and get down on their level, and we need to take an interest in them. The second strategy is being open with someone with challenging behaviour and what we are trying to accomplish, because we need to inspire to the other person. People with challenging behaviour often have a lot of problems, so to take the annoyance away from their problems, we should suggest a solution and the reason for this. The fourth strategy is giving feedback, being positive or negative. This is recognising and acknowledging what they've done. Positive feedback is. It can also be a good reinforcer for the behaviour. So if they get good feedback, that means they might repeat this behaviour. Negative feedback is voicing their concerns and making the person aware. By doing this, we need to do it appropriately and constructively. The sixth strategy is being able to speak the same language. Although it's simple, we must know their first language, whether it be in specialised communication, non-verbal communication, and they'll value this. When dealing with a situation, the type of language you use is also important. The sixth strategy for influencing someone with challenging behaviour is handling their disagreements. So, but there may be a refusal what they are saying. You should be specific about what you intend to do. The last strategy is active listening and having empathy for someone with challenging behaviour, and they might return the favour. Empathy is putting ourselves in their shoes and looking at their problems from a different perspective. Okay, so the 3 things that's involved in influencing is persuasion. So this is trying to adjust someone's way of thinking. Negotiation, coming to a mutual agreement with someone, and assertiveness, being clear about what you intend and what you want.